Hey guys, I'm showing you how to start the JF-17 Thunder in DCS with the 2.8 update. This is going to show you how to use the new configuration panel in the F10 menu, and then how to do any changes with the data cartridge and new weapons. Hopefully you guys appreciate it. Okay, once you're in your cockpit, let's go ahead and check out the ground crew configuration panel. This is actually a new panel that was installed in the last two updates for the JF-17, and it's quite useful in regards to the startup process, and then any kind of changes that you may have during flights that you want to do at different air bases. So what you do is you go to your ground crew in the F10 menu, and then you go to your F5 configuration panel. And this actually opens up a few options that we can now adjust before we start our aircraft. So here you can change your DMAP type to raster charts or an altitude chart for your actual moving map inside of your SA page. You can also update INS align data if you're doing like a different airbase cold start, which is really useful. You can remove your AAR probe for refueling. You can refill your utilities, and then you can remove your inlet cover and ladder, which we want to make sure we want to remove the inlet cover and ladder, or else you'll get a blown engine during the start. And you can keep restarting it. You can tell them to remove the ladder later. It's just better if we do it ahead of time so they don't feel stupid when we do it later. Here you can also change your laser codes if you'd like to for each single pylon. If you want to do certain weapons or buddy lasing, you can change them here. For now, I'm just going to leave them at 1688. I do want to let you know that you can copy and paste codes. So if you type it in one, you can copy it to the other with Control V. Just say no. Other than that, we'll click apply. The ground crew will tell us what they're going to start doing up here in the top right. And while they go ahead and do that, let's go ahead and come down to the bottom right next to our knee, and let's turn on the battery, the AC gen, and the DC gen, and then turn on your AAP to the train mode. And then while you're doing that, come down here to COM 1, turn it on. Same with COM 2, TACCAN ILS, and your missile warning system, which I only turn on a little bit during startup because that warning gets really annoying. Make sure you also turn your intercom like I did just there by habit. You can also left click your ECS and turn it to norm, which is very useful. Go over here to your left side by your knee and turn on your starter pumps, turn on your engine control, and then make sure that you uncage your throttle and that it goes stop to idle so that we can go ahead and start our engine. That is a left click, by the way. And then once you've done that, once the throttle is uncaged, excuse me, you can click the ground start for about 3 seconds. You'll start to hear that engine wind up after you click it. There it goes. Since we're already over here, let's go ahead and arm our ejection seat. And let's remove the safety pin here for the ejection seat as well. You'll know that it's removed once that red little thing goes away. Come back here next to your radio and turn on your SHARS alignment and your emergency hydraulic switch. You can also go ahead and turn on your radio to transmit, receive, and guard. Once you've started that, you can go ahead and insert your data cartridge here. It's 2 left clicks, by the way, to insert that. You'll see here on the left MFD that the DTC locked enter screen comes up. So what you want to do is click the all button and then click enter, and this will start entering everything for us, which is very useful. Now while that goes ahead and enters stuff through the data cartridge as I begin to stutter over my words, you can click the EPI 1 here, which will show your engine spooling up, and once it reaches 70.5, that means that the engine is fully wound up. And here you can actually also see your total fuel and your feed for your fuel as well. While that also does that, in the middle here we can see that we have our INS to standby mode, and we can confirm our coordinates through the right shift K knee board. Here we can see that it does say 350119, which is not correct. So what we are going to do is we are actually going to change our thing. So in order to change our INS coordinates, we're actually going to have to turn on our HUD brightness and UFCP brightness here. You'll see that the coordinates come up right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to enter the new coordinates through our knee board. So we're going to enter 3500599. As you'll see here, it'll actually go up a number because I believe it rounds up or down depending on the number. Here we're going to do the same for the longitude, so we're going to enter 033432113. As you can see, they're north and east, which is correct. And then here you can enter your altitude, and you're going to want to make sure that you enter those 2 zeros beforehand, or else it's going to think that it's at like 28,000 feet instead of 208 feet, or whatever, 280 feet, excuse me. So you're going to want to enter 00281, and the altitude is now set. We come down here to our middle MFD again, and we can confirm that it is now correct, so 350060, which is correct according to this, and 0334321, which is also correct, and then our altitude is correct as well. So what you can do now is you can come down here on your AAP and click it to compat, turn on your ACMI again, turn on your SPJ if you're running a jammer, and then set your INS to fast with a right click. What you'll see here is your INS will begin to start a remaining time for the INS alignment. We need to make sure that we set our true heading though. So go ahead and click this arrow right here that's pointing to the button. Our true heading according to our kneeboard is 065, so we're going to click 065. As you'll see here, it will restart the alignment with the true heading installed. Once this is done, it says flashing INS, we'll then be able to set it to nav mode, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and do some other stuff during that 30 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and close my kneeboard. You come back here to the back right, you can turn on your anti-collision lights if you'd prefer. Come up here to the top left and you can turn on your taxi lights with a right click. Make sure your park and brake is set to park. You can also change your AG1/AG2 and AA/AG switches depending on your config. You'll go ahead and close your canopy with a left click. Leave it on the arrow pointing to close right here until it's fully closed, and then once the canopy is fully closed and sealed, you can click the lock button. It's fully closed and sealed, so you can left click one more time for the lock button. You'll notice that warning has gone away, and we have an INS fast aligning. You can see that it's also flashing. Come down here to your INS and right click it to nav. You'll see that the INS nav has gone back to normal. You can press 1 in the keybinds to set your thing back to navigation mode. Once you're in navigation mode, if you'd like to have the map on your HSD, you can go ahead and click the map button and you'll see that it comes here, and then you can zoom in or out depending. Come back to your UCP and then go ahead and click the COM2, and we're going to switch this to 199. This is actually our data link mode to be able to hook into the AWACS. And then once you've clicked 199, you'll see that it changes here from data, or to data TDMA. You'll change the slave to master, and then the NE to NES. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and press return, click the IFF button, and set it to mode 1, mode 2, mode 3A, or mode 6, depending on what you'd like for your mission. Mode 1 is the one I stick with. It's a simple IFF process. Come back here to the bottom left, connect your G-chute, connect your oxygen tube connector. You can also turn on your digital clock here, right of the MFD. And then on your left MFD, this is something I just do for personal preference. Come down here to your SMS on the bottom right, and then just make sure that all your weapons that you have installed are actually showing. So as you can see here, we have the PL5 Sidewinder missile, basically. The 61, whatever that is, it's the new laser JDAM. I don't know what they're called inside this menu. And then you can see we have our targeting pod and our 2 fuel tanks, and then our 180 gun. I just like to confirm before I take off, because sometimes people make mistakes with the data cartridge. They forget to enter it, or they forget to update it, or something like that, and then this stuff won't show up on their SMS page. And that's just a good way to confirm that you did it correctly before you did anything. You can also do the same thing in the combat menu to make sure that you have your flyer and shafts installed. Once you've done all that, you're pretty much set to take off in the JF-17. Just make sure that you set your radio channels if you'd like to, depending on your mission, and then make sure that you enter any waypoints that you want to, and you should be set to take off. This is pretty much everything updated to the new JF-17 standards that just came out with the last few updates, because they just did a bunch of work in regards to the weapons, different weapon pylons that you can carry, and then in regards to the new configuration panel that is in touch with the data cartridge. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll put out some more tutorials on the JF-17. I hope to do some more missions with it, because this thing is becoming a beauty to me in the new realm of fighter jets. Thank you guys for watching.